Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder. It's time for the second episode. Thank you very much for the support on the first one. It went much better than I could have ever anticipated, the return of the series. It's now time for the views to die on its arse and return back to normality. Kieran, you join us for the second week in a row. Number one to ask you here, how you enjoying Stardom?
I'm not talking to people now. I'm just doing too high a level. But
I know you send me the odd screenshot like that. Who's this trying to follow me? Just try to keep up with me. And for the first time on the channel, for the first time I'm gonna say it right now. Many appearances, a very good speaker, Mr. Ryan McGinley. Ryan, how are you doing, mate? I know you've been dying for this.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm making my podcast debut, so I'm quite buzzing about it.
Of course, the three of us have done a couple of wee kind of bulletin shows for the City Live website through the college, but this is the real thing now. And Ryan, I'll tell you now that we're on the air. Don't be afraid to use some R-rated language if you want. We don't have restrictions anymore.
I don't want to demonetize you, so.
Oh, mate, don't want. I've done far worse and I've not been demonetised. So, there was once an occasion where I compared Neil Lennon to. I won't go any further. Right, okay. So there's a lot of things to talk about today. Of course, we're into the January transfer window. Last week was a bit of a get it off your chest show because we were off the back of the derby defeat to Rangers. So today, I guess we can be a bit more positive. But then again, with the way Celtic season's gone, how positive can you be? Celtic take on Hibs tomorrow. We'll start with that. I didn't get the chance to sit down and make a match preview, so we'll get to talk about it all here. Hibs going into this game in the worst form they've been in this season. 3 losses on the bounce. Players aren't firing. Celtic, on the other hand, of course, picked up a bit of form. Lost to Rangers. But there's a decent chance we can go in and kick on for January here. Kieran, I'll start with you. How are you feeling going into the game against Hibs tomorrow?
I think we just need to kick on. It's vital that we do. Obviously we did get beat off Rangers, but before that we were playing some good football and it was looking like a promising turn in fortunes for Celtic. Obviously we never got the result we wanted, but I think Hibs will be if we can get the result against Hibs, it will be a good indication that we can keep the pressure on this season.
I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth saying that, this is the chance for us to go and challenge Rangers for the title. I think a lot of us might have accepted the fact that that's long gone. Ryan, tomorrow we go into the game. You know what? I've always said Hibs is probably the toughest team in the league. We've played them twice now this season. First occasion was a bit of a breeze. Second occasion, not so much. What do we have to do tomorrow, Ryan, to try and ensure we walk away with 3 points? I think we've lost Ryan. I think he's just frozen into the oblivion there right in the last second. We're getting a lovely photo of him there, just sitting there, chilling. Ryan, son.
Oh, it cut off, mate.
I know, I was like that there. I was like, is he just patching me? And then I realised you were sitting in the same blank stance for 5 seconds. This is the problems with lockdown world. It's only a matter of time before we're sitting in front of Norris Cole and a Celtic scarf. So we'll go back to you again. What do we have to do tomorrow? Considering, judging off the past 2 games, what do you think Celtic have to do tomorrow to try and beat Hibs?
I think we just need to go out and be positive, really. The best form of defence is attack, really, for us. And I feel like Hibs really suit our style of play. I think you saw that in the first game of the season. I thought in the first half of the first game against Hibs, we were brilliant. And then Turnbull came on in the second half. Obviously, you know how much I love Turnbull. But we need to do better than what we done at Easter Road because we were quite awful against them. I thought it was the end after Hibernian away, but we'll see how it goes.
We left it late. And it's really such a big contrast between those 2 games because the first game we went into, and I was expecting it to be far closer than what it actually was. 3-0 was a shock. I couldn't believe it. And then the second game, I wasn't exactly expecting us to win, but the fact we had to leave it till late, it was Diego Laxalt, wasn't it? Scored the equalising goal. We had to leave it to that point. And I wasn't going into games, I said, thinking, no, this is going to be easy, we're going to win. But the fact that we did have to leave it that late was worrying. Tomorrow, Celtic are missing Near Beaton. It's expected Shane Duffy will come back into the team. Turnbull's off the back of winning Player of the Month. Kieran, in terms of team selection, it's got to be more of the same pretty much. Sorrow and Turnbull to start again?
I think it will be pretty much identical to the team at the Old Firm, obviously with Duffy in instead of Beaton. But I didn't think there was anything majorly wrong with that team selection apart from Beaton, because even though he's suspended, I still think if he shouldn't have been in the team anyway. But I feel like the team sort of picks itself tomorrow. We've been playing well with that very same team minus the last game. But I think it's just going to be pretty much more of the same.
No room for Scott Brown coming back into the team then still? He's still sticking with Soro and Turnbull?
Yep, not a chance he gets back in the team.
So we're so loyal to our captain. Jack Ross, you know, a man who was on the lips of Celtic fans only about a month ago. There was talk about him being the next Celtic manager. You know, there was those small rumours kind of going about in the wind, but of course we're still here with Lennon. Ryan, I'll ask you very quickly, because you missed out on last week. How are you feeling towards that, by the way? I mean, the fact we're meant to review the situation in the new year, I didn't really give you the chance. Before I keep talking about Hibs, I just want to just go on, mate. Feel free.
You giving me the floor?
Oh,
yeah, I'm still waiting for the results of the review. I'm guessing that he's staying, because there's not really been much talk. No, I can't believe it's went on this long, but I feel like now it will go on till the end of the season. I don't think he'll leave now, unless like a disaster happens, like what we were talking about in the cup. If we were to get put out in the Scottish Cup, that would be terrible. But no, I see him staying on to the end of the season, begrudgingly.
well, I know it's one of those ones now. You know, we spoke about it last week. We were talking about how, you know, it's probably going to be an end of season thing now, whether or not we win the league or not. You know, Neil Lennon will most likely be here come the end of the season, and we've just got to accept that. So I'll ask you very quickly. Have anybody got anything to add before we move off the Hibs game? Any sudden last thoughts that have came into your mind, Kieran? You?
No, I think pretty much covered it.
Covered it. Ryan, yourself? Anything you'd like to add about the game tomorrow?
It's just a must-win, really. Every game's a must-win, but this is a must-win.
I know it's must-win every game at this point, as you say. That is the case, but you know there's no room for error now. If Celtic want any chance, we cannot lose a single point. And yes, we've been saying that since probably November time, but you know it generally is the case now. We're that far behind. Any further behind is a joke, and maybe that will see the end of Lennon. Who knows? Hibs have made a couple of signings, of course. I think it was Macy they've brought in. They've resolved the goalkeeping issue. They signed him from Arsenal. And of course, it's got to be an interesting game. It always is with him. So I'll ask you very quickly to end it up. Predictions for tomorrow, Kieran. It's a Monday night kickoff, bizarrely as well. I know it's to do with the whole Dubai fiasco, but Kieran, your prediction for tomorrow?
I'll just be positive and go with a 2-0 Celtic.
2-0 Celtic. Nice. Ryan?
I'm going to go for 3-1. I can't see us not conceding against Hibs, but I think we'll win.
I know it's weird. I was looking at the starting lineup from when we played them at Celtic Park earlier in the season, and Shane Duffy actually was playing in the middle of the back three that day. God knows how we managed to keep a clean sheet. Like, how the hell that happened, I don't know. For me, I'm going to go along the same lines as Kieran. I think we will score 2 goals, but yes, I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-1, which will probably pluck away at the old anxiety, but I'll have to do. Dubai's finished. We spoke about it last week. Did we speak about it last week, actually? Did we not? We didn't cover it at all, did we? Because it was I think it was the look at Ryan rubbing his hands. We never got a chance to speak about it. I done a video myself on it, so I basically gave a lot of my views. We have heard that Shane Duffy returned home early due to a family issue. He is expected still to be available tomorrow and probably will start the game tomorrow. But Ryan, you were rubbing your hands there. Dubai, it's over and done with now. Just your thoughts though.
When those pictures came through, I think it was on the Sunday, obviously 24 hours after we get beat against Rangers, I was like, they've shot themselves in the foot again. How many times have we shot ourselves in the foot this season? Pictures of Neil Lennon and Scott Brown with pints, and then the ones later with all the boys watching darts. It was just a complete nightmare. It was a disaster, actually. No, it's ethically wrong. We shouldn't have been there. Even if we did win the game against Rangers, I wouldn't have wanted us there. Mm-hmm. But off the back of a defeat, it was just unacceptable, really.
The SFA and the Scottish Government and everybody else around the country had something to say about it. Nicola Sturgeon and herself made comments towards it. Kieran, are Celtic lucky not to get punished here? I guess the main point is the fact that the trip was approved by the relevant authorities. But do you think that regarding how the situation has kind of changed since that point, 'cause I believe it was October time the trip was approved? So, you know, things changed massively between then and the actual time of the trip. Are Celtic lucky not to be kind of punished from the SFA or whatever?
I don't know if we're lucky not to get punished, but I agree with Ryan. It just seems a bit morally iffy gone to Dubai in the current circumstances. Obviously, apparently we weren't breaking any regulations and that. Everything was approved, everything was above board, but it just seems like a bit of a get up to everybody else. When everybody else in a national lockdown, they get to fuck off to Dubai and mess about on what looks like a stag do with Shane Duffy fucking smoking snout, and you've got all that going on. Like, it just seems like a big middle finger to everybody, and especially after the back of the defeat, it makes it all the more infuriating. But I don't know.
No, here I am sitting here with my holiday to Magaluf cancelled. The cheap €3 Marlborough Gold, far, far away, and and then I get Duffy doing that to me. David Turnbull, player of the month. David Turnbull was in the press conference, was it this morning, and I think he was saying, "Look, I never seen the boys break any sort of social distancing measures. Everything was kind of followed and that, but we've seen the photos, Ryan. I mean, at this point, he's coming out and saying that we're seeing different things." I just don't know where everybody's head is at with it. Is the club is it just another entry into the whole kind of banter year we've had so far?
Yeah, I think this is going to be some book when it's published in a couple of years' time with all the mental things that have happened this season. It seems as if we can't read the room at all this season for whatever reason that is. We just keep on stumbling on mistake after mistake. There's far too many to mention, but I think this Dubai one is one of the worst ones.
I know. It's just so poorly timed, such a farce of a decision to go forward with. And as you said, what a book. I can just picture big Paul John Dyke sitting down to do his next Sellik book, and that's got to be the whole, story of it all. It's a disaster, to say the least. They're back though, and you've got to hope for results, Kieran. You've got to at least if we've gave them that opportunity, if they have took it, we've came back now from Dubai twice over the past couple of years, and we've kicked on really well, especially last season. So are you expecting to see some form of result from this warm weather training camp?
I would love to see the teams recharged and we're ready to go back and keep the pressure on, but I don't know if this has just been Neil Wynn and the board sort of Hail Mary sort of thing. This has worked the past couple of years. Let's just get them out to Dubai and cart some of the star players in front of the media to try and calm the anger. After a derby defeat, after everybody being raging at them going to Dubai, they wheel out Turnbull and Sorrow and all that for interviews, and they're trying to keep all the fans happy with all this content in their social medias, and people can see through it. But hopefully that it has been a PR disaster for them, to be honest with you. I couldn't think anything worse they could have done in this situation. But hopefully that it doesn't come back to bite us and we can actually kick on for here, but it's still just infuriating that they've done it.
Absolutely. Ryan, before we move on, one last opportunity about the whole situation. Is there any points you feel like you really need to get across before we move on?
I don't know what more I can say. It's just a complete disaster, the whole situation. I hope they're recharged, but I feel like the fact that we rely on this season after season is a problem in itself. Why do we need to go abroad every season in order to save the season? Because we had to do that last season as well. Obviously, there was less of a gap last season, but why do we have to rely on this? Why are we expecting to get a turn in form?
See, last year as well, but it was at the actual winter break. This was just a week away to Dubai and amongst fixtures. Like, there was no genuine break with this. We should have been playing at the weekend and we pushed a game back for this. So I don't know if it'll have the same sort of effect, but you can only hope.
It's spot on, because we're bad at we're obviously already behind. We have 3 games in hand. Of course, our season's kind of been disrupted through rogue holidays and everything else in between. So the fact that we have pushed another game back, it really does seem like a severe lapse in judgment from the people who have made these decisions at the top. But, we've got to take it now. We've got to move on. They're back, and let's hope they came back with a nice suntan and ready to go. We'll move on to, actually, I want to quickly throw in for the people who are tuning in at this point, or, it's not live or anything, the people still watching, don't worry. I promised it last week. We'll have our first quiz at the end of the episode. Kieran and Ryan, I hope you are ready. The questions aren't too difficult, I can assure you that. We're not going to ask you who set up the winning goal in the 1968 Scottish Cup final or anything like that. It's going to be nice and simple for you. I can guarantee you we'll have fun. January transfer window. It's been a window that, once again, we're looking towards as something to save our season. after what looked to be a very, very good transfer window at the start of the season, it's been thrown right back in their face with the results. We have missed out already on a key signing that could have been Mark McKenzie. He's off to Genk, and it looks as though Filip Benkovic might be lost out on too. January, Kieran, what are you thinking?
It's going to be a lot of short-term fixes, I believe. Might see a couple of loan deals, if anything. You might get Declan Gallacher in. I seen we were meant to be watching him at the game yesterday, but it's just you don't know what signings we can actually make to genuinely improve this team. And you don't know who Celtic are looking at. You genuinely don't. But January is such a horrible, horrible window because nobody wants to sell their best players. So it's going to cost them more money. While the board spend a lot of money on a manager like Neil Lennon, who we don't know if he's going to be here in the summer or no. So do the board know that? Are they going to give him the money? Do they trust him to spend for players that will actually be okay for a future manager coming in? That they're going to just brush them away. But it's just a horrible situation we find ourselves in. But hopefully we can somehow find a few diamonds in the rough and make an instant impact. But that is very wishful thinking.
It's crazy because, of course, you're talking about will the board back Lennon. They backed him quite heavily in the summer, and it's just been, it's so you get comments in my videos all the time, and just fans like saying, "Oh, I thought this was the best transfer window you had in years." And of course, I will say that I rue what I said. I regret it all. On paper, it should have been, but it isn't. Ryan had talked about missing out on those players. How much does it damage Celtic as a club when we can't get these players over the line? What does it mean for us moving forward? The whole policy and everything, just sum it up for us.
It's not great, is it, at all? Obviously, we've been watching Mark McKenzie for a while, and I can see why he's went to Genk over us, obviously due to this season as well. But Genk have this winning formula of developing these players and then selling them on for tens of millions of pounds profit. But the Benkovic one's a sore one as well. Obviously, King Power own that Belgian team that he's going to. So I guess that's what's made that easier. But no, it's disappointing, and it's in an area that we need to strengthen in this window. So the fact that we've not addressed it quickly or quick enough is disappointing.
It's one of those ones now that Declan Gallacher does look like the realistic option. And Ryan, I don't know about you. For me, Declan Gallacher is not the player we should be going for.
No, I've heard some people call him young Declan Gallacher. Declan Gallacher is a year older than Shane Duffy. He's 29 years old. It would be short term at the most, I would hope. I would actually bring him on a 6-month loan to see how he does, rather than giving him a deal, because I feel like that would only cause problems if you gave him a deal, because like I said, he's 29. He's not going to improve that much, and he's a short-term fix.
Kieran, he's not going to be the man to save our season, is he? Let's be honest.
Nah, I mean, that's the thing. That's another thing, but even if we don't think he is, could it be another case of Celtic missing out on getting a good deal? Because the man's got 4 more games, I believe. I read an article saying before that game he played yesterday that he had 5 games left until he triggered a clause that would add on another
year.
So Celtic have got a limited window here where they can actually bring him in if they're genuinely thinking about it. Because obviously he's out of contract at the end of the season, but we could probably get away with paying a fee now to bring him in, like right now in January, because it's all fine well saying we'll get him on a pre-contract, but you want to get players on pre-contracts that are fit the Celtic formula that we've had for years, bringing in young players, developing them, then selling them on. Declan Gallacher's not got any resale value, not a chance. Players that we've been bringing in haven't got any resale value. It's just gone against everything that we've done for the past however many years. The only, obviously, we brought in Turnbull this year, but you've got players like Laxalt that we brought in loan deals, Duffy with the option to buy. Like, if we were to bring these players in, there's no resale value, and you were hoping that they would be first team quality, and you wouldn't need to. They'd just be players that would play. Like Julian, he wasn't somebody that we expected to sell on. That's somebody that we hoped would be here for the duration of his contract and play his best years here. But it's just, you don't know what Celtic's transfer policy is now, because they just seem to be flip-flopping on it.
And I guess that just kind of, that's kind of mirrored in the whole situation at the club. You know, transfer policy is bizarre, and so is our kind of formula for moving forward as a club, because it's not a team at the minute who look as though are going in a direction that kind of suits a longevity or anything. You know, it's Neil Lennon's in charge. He's a man who's simply going to be here for 1 year, max 2, and we're going to lose all these players next year. He's not the man who should be in charge of a rebuild. The kind of ethos at the club is kind of destroyed at the minute, and that's why the club are obviously, the fans are begging for an appointment like an Eddie Howe, because we need that kind of energy around the club. Declan Gallacher for me just comes in and once again is the board's cheap option to try and get a very quick fix, and it's not going to happen. A lot of people talk about Jack Hendry as well, though. Jack Hendry really hitting the heights over in Belgium at the minute. I have been very, very vocal in the past about Jack Hendry. Very vocal. I am not the biggest fan. I can't deny and say no right now. He's looking a player in Belgium. Apparently, there are clubs also interested in the English Championship as well. Ryan, is he someone who we could potentially look at bringing back and fixing this situation out, or is he simply still not good enough?
I think that just stinks of desperation, if I'm being honest. I feel like we're just looking for a body to put in there in centre half to answer all our problems. No, I don't think he's good enough, and he showed that in a good team a couple of years ago that he just wasn't good enough. I mean, Ayer's head and shoulders above him, and Ayer's a couple of years younger than him as well. Yep. You see the difference in players. No, I think we do need a replacement in this window in terms of centre backs. I don't think Jack Hendry will be it.
The thing, a very interesting point, my pal pointed out last night, so I'm not going to steal it and pretend it's me. You know, a lot of people talking about, I seen somebody put out a point on Twitter, there's people trying to back Jack Hendry, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to put on a charade that I'm going to be backing Jack Hendry, and I think that he's going to come back a player. I don't think he will. He simply didn't look good enough. He didn't look comfortable enough. I just don't think he's good enough. Someone had pointed out a point on Twitter, or made a point on Twitter, I should say, that, you know, we loaned out players like Ayer, we loaned out players like Christie, and they came back and they were brilliant for us. They're now key players. The difference is they were 19, 20-year-old at the time. Jack Hendry is 24? Something like that. 23, 24? It's a bit older. So
I heard 26.
26? Is it old? Is it that old? I thought it was. I'm just googling it right now.
At a fair age.
25 year old, and he'll be 26 in May. So there you go. You're basically there, Ryan. I saw your face drop. I'm like, don't tell me he's older than that. And he is. But unbelievable. You know, we loan day players at this point. Jack Hendry's now getting to the age where he should be good enough to be a Celtic starting centre half, and he's simply not. So as you said, it reeks of desperation for me, and it kind of just sums up the window, Kieran, doesn't it?
I know. I feel like it's this thing with Celtic fans across the board. I feel a lot of them they forget everything that happened when these players and managers and that were at the club. It's just this sort of love affair that people have had with players. Like, oh, why did we let them go? One of them's Lustig. Lustig, on his day, was a good player, but in his final years, everybody slated him. He was shocking against Ryan Kent and that in the Old Firms. He got tore apart. But as soon as he left, I was like, oh, we missed Lustig. Like, we should never have let him go. What is this with Celtic fans that seem to think about this? And people, like, talking about Ronnie Dyler and all that in the past as if people never slated him week in, week out. Like, everybody's just got this sort of love affair with people that have left the club. And, like, even Eric Sviatchenko, he was a decent player, but he did put himself in for some stick at certain points. And I think a lot of people forget about these, like, the bad times and just convince themselves that they were always good for us, and they just forget. It's the same with James Forrest as well. When he's at the team, everybody's, we're missing him. When he's in the team, we hate him. People can't make their mind up, and it's infuriating. Like, if people just remember the way these players played at Celtic and why they end up leaving, there's a reason that these players have been either sold or put on loan, or managers have been sacked, and they just forget it. And I just can't wrap my head around it. I just can't.
Very, very fair point. I mean, it's a very passionate point, but very fair point. And it's like, you know, I always take a joke that, you know, like, how much I miss Johnny Hayes, and I do miss Johnny Hayes, but it's true. Like, Lustig's not exactly going to step in and help this situation. Of course, there's the passion, the game that the guy got and such, but you know, quality wise, he was far past it. And we all know that, and you know, I think it's sad to know that there is a vast majority. I wouldn't say vast majority. That's probably unfair, but there is a portion of the Celtic support that, you know, if you were to say to them right now, would you take Lustig into the team? They'd probably go, "Oh, aye, you'll come in and solve issues." I mean, it's baffling, absolutely baffling. Did any of you see that photo? I just want to bring up, I forgot all about it. Did any of you see that photo someone had put on Twitter throughout the week? And it was like this is the team that half the fan base want. It's like Forster, Taylor, Gallagher, Porteous, O'Donnell, and it's James McLean. I mean, it does seem like that is the direction that we're headed in, doesn't it?
No.
Yeah, I think that team is a Neil Lennon wet dream of a team. Honestly, I feel like that is the team that he is envisioning in his deepest, darkest dreams. And we should never see that team come out at Celtic Park.
The only thing that is missing from the team is generally Shane Duffy at centre half. Take out Ryan Porteous and put Shane Duffy in, and that there is the Lenny Ball masterclass. You've got it. Moving up the pitch, we've not even spoke about it. We've been too busy focusing on centre halves. Moving up the pitch, Kieran, do you think we need anything? And if so, what do we need in this window?
I think it's been evident that a right winger's been lacking ever since when Forrest who we genuinely got to cover there. Ryan Christie can play it wide all he wants, but he's not a winger. So a right wing I feel is necessary, and I don't want to hear Patrick Roberts off anybody before. Right.
Same situation, but a minute ago.
Right, but it's just I don't know who you bring in, because is that boy for QPR still available? I think we missed it.
I think we've missed out on him, haven't we? Or something. He's apparently in pre-contract talks or something with somebody. I read. The one that really stands out to me that I want to bring up is, and I hope that we somehow get it done. I don't know if you've heard the reports that we're getting linked with the Reims player, Nathaniel Mbuku, the young 18-year-old French winger. And you know what? If I'm basing anything off of what I've seen in the last 3 years at Celtic with young French players, I feel very confident of bringing them in. Look, he's made 13 League One appearances this season. He apparently was a very key player for the France team in the under-17s World Cup. And of course, people will turn around and say that, that's, under-17s level and all the rest of it. But we know that France are a country who are developing right now the best footballers in the world. There's no denying that. And the way the France team is looking at the minute, they could go on to win the Euros and the World Cup for 10, 20 years. They're that good. Apparently they're looking though for the region of £7 million. Will Peter Lawwell pay anything like that for a right winger when James Forrest is ready to return to the team in a couple months' time? I don't think so. Ryan, your thoughts moving forward?
He's French, and anything that's good that's came from Celtic over the past 3 years has been down to the fact that they're French, basically. So I'm all for it. But yeah, I do agree that we need a right winger. I was going to make a stupid joke about Donald Trump and being a right winger and that. I'm not even going to bother with that.
Oh no! Remember, he's banned from YouTube now, so we can't even mention his name.
He can't even see this. Can't even tune in.
See, the only thing he's not banned from is PlayStation. So maybe he'll try and get his points across on there.
I'll give him a wee game of Warzone tonight. I don't know.
Oh God! Oh jeez! Oh.
We don't need that at all.
Exactly.
No, but yeah, I do agree that we need a right winger. I feel like young James Forrest again at 29 years old. We need adequate cover, I would say, but we do need a long-term replacement as well, because a winger's shelf life isn't that long. Mm-hmm. You see players like Theo Walcott down south that are kind of dying out at the age of 31, 32. So he's only got another couple of years at his top prime level. So we do need a replacement.
And the final thing to talk about in terms of the January transfer window, I feel just now, I kind of want to come on to something that's not directly Celtic related towards the end of the show, but we'll talk about one thing for now. Diego Laxalt has apparently expressed interest to stay at Celtic come the end of the season. Ryan, you wanted me to you said that when I asked you last night, what should I bring up? This is a point that you raised. So Diego Laxalt, good news that he wants to stay at Celtic, would you say?
If you would have asked me 2 months ago, I would have said, aye, a certainty, we need to buy him. Like he was one of the only positives in the team. But I feel like we've seen more of him now, and I feel like he's getting properly coached by Lennon, which is bringing out all the bad parts of his game. I think, like Frimpong, he's just not got a delivery at all. Yes, he's good defensively. You saw that last week with his last-ditch tackle. I think it was it Roof or Morelos?
I think it was Roof.
Which shows he can do the basics, the fundamentals, but I mean, some of the quoted fees, like 7 million, we can't afford to pay that on a left winger. That's the reason why we sold Kieran Tierney, is because we can't afford to have a £25 million left back in the team. The Scottish League just doesn't allow for it, really. Mm-hmm. We had to cash in, but I don't think he's worth 7 million.
Fair play, Kieran. Are you in the same boat? It seems a lot of the support are sharing that mindset that over the past kind of month or so, we've seen a sort of no, I don't want to use the word downfall because that seems too extreme, but we have seen him dwindle since the first kind of few performances.
See, with Laxalt, it's very strange for me because obviously he's had like one or two standout performances, but apart from that, I feel like he's been very average. Like he's put in a shift whenever he's played, but in terms of he's no setting the world alight, he's no terrible either. It's just somewhere in the middle, and does somewhere in the middle merit a £7 million transfer fee? For me, no. But to be fair, there's another half of the season. We're going to get to see a lot more of him. We'll be able to make a much better judgment at the end of the season. Because, I mean, you looked into previous loan deals where Edward in his first season, obviously it's different. He's a striker scoring goals and that. But before that, everybody, I wasn't sold on him in the January. He kicked on a bit. He got the goal at Ibrox when 10 men won the league. But, you know, it's just, you've got the rest of the season to evaluate. Why not just maybe not make any harsh opinions on who, and then we'll evaluate at the end of the season. But as it stands now, I'm not sold on him.
No sold. That's
anyway.
No for £7 million, I suppose. Right, January transfer talk for me is over. Once again, I'll pose the question. Since it's hard to do what I hate about doing these Zoom calls. See when you're like at the table, and Kieran, you've experienced being at the table. You've came and done a couple of Talk Scottish footballs now, and when we get back to that, you know, it'll be good again, and especially when we do it for this. At the table, it's good because you can really get in with a point when you want to before something moves on. But in Zoom, there's that delay and there's that, you don't want to talk air somebody. It's so difficult. So this is why I continuously ask, anybody got anything to say before we move on?
I'd maybe we point on Benkovic. I feel like that's a huge miss, to be honest with you, because
Really?
it is reality that we're probably going to end up getting Gallacher in, whereas we could have got somebody like Benkovic in, who I thought was brilliant in his time at Celtic. Fair enough, he had a couple of bad performances, Ibrox, when we got beat 1-0, but apart from that, I thought he was brilliant. And then Lenny came in and he didn't want to play somebody that wasn't going to be there the next season, so we never really got to see a lot of them come the end of the season. But no, I thought he'd have been a brilliant signing for us, especially in the situation we're in just now. And I feel like it is a big miss that we're not getting him, but it's another case of would we have got him on a permanent, or would it just been a wee 6-month quick fix?
Aye.
And you just don't know what Celtic need to know. And then, is there any more talk about that Alfie? I don't know how to say.
Alfie Doughty.
Alfie.
So apparently Celtic and Rangers are both looking to start discussions with him, I think. That was the last thing I read, Ryan. I don't know about you. You might have a bit more on it.
I heard that Stoke had put in a bid for him for this window. They'd actually put money in. But a couple of teams are going for him on a pre-contract, including us and Rangers. But I always get a bit worried when both Celtic and Rangers are interested. Like over the past couple of years, that's not really been a problem because we've been successful.
Aye.
But I don't want to be defeatist. But now that they're kind of close to tasting success, you might start to see a couple of players that would have came to us go to them instead, which is always a worry.
One player that stood out to me that I would like us to make a move for ahead of the likes of Gallacher, but doesn't look like it will happen, was probably Ben Davies of Preston. He looked like a decent option. He's only got 6 months in his deal left as well, so there is that opportunity of going for a pre-contract. The fact is we need a centre-half now. 6 months is no use, I think, to us at the minute. And the problem is with Preston, that's apparently they're wanting £5 million for him. Now, you can't justify paying £5 million for a player with 6 months left in his deal. And I guess it kind of speaks volumes to how important he is to Preston, but also how good a player he might be. And I can't sit here and pretend that I watched the English Championship and I've seen him and how good he could be and such. But £5 million is not going to happen. So it looks as though that deal will be off the cards, despite the fact that we have been interested. So slightly annoying, to say the least. January window done, over in finito with. We'll be back next week to talk about what's happened in the window. Of course, we'll be reviewing we'll probably be off the back of reviewing the Livingston game, which is not a game I'm looking forward to considering the form they're in at the minute. But we'll head on to, we've actually spoke quite a chunk about the two main topics. So we'll move on to the questions before we go into the quiz. And I'm going to start off with one that was sent in, and I feel like it has to be answered. It was asked to the likes of Ismaila Soro. It was asked to the likes of David Turnbull. So it's a very key question. Ryan, Spunkphone's asking, do you like Hayley Williams?
He's asking the question, and I feel quite honoured that he's asking this question, considering, well, the people that he's asked already this question. But I do like Hayley Williams, yeah. 2009 in the SECC, I went to see Paramore live, and I've been a fan for, what is it, like 13 years now.
Madness.
So I would say I'm a fan, yeah, absolutely.
Kieran, yourself, you a fan of the old Paramore?
Okay, I like a wee tune or two, hard times and that, but and I wouldn't call myself a super fan, but I like Caleb Williams.
Oh, nice. The main question is, would you get on? We can't ask that. We can't steal his woman. That would be a crime. That'd be an absolute crime.
I thought his woman was Debbie Harry.
Oh God, it changes like the weather, I suppose. Just like me, and then the main point I want to make is I've already responded. What I said was I love Hayley Williams. I would never drink anything else. That's the result I went for. Right, but on to the actual questions. A good one here from James, who sends in: do you think Damien Duff could come back after resigning at Ireland? I don't think it's possible because he left us for a reason. Kieran, do you see Damien Duff returning?
No, but purely for the fact that he left to be closer to his family in Ireland. I don't see why he would backtrack on that. If he's left Celtic in the good times, why would he come back when we're struggling like to do this? And if he's closer to his family, it's all about that. And he's not going to want to come back here, especially in the current climate where he might not be able to go back and forward to go and see them and such. But no chance.
Ryan, is Gavin Strachan's stench ready to be replaced by the handsome good looks of Damien Duff?
Damien Duff doesn't know Gavin Strachan's laptop password, so we've got no chance, honestly.
Has to break
no, I can't see him coming back. I was quite interested to see why he left the Ireland job.
What was the reason?
It was due to the videos he was playing before the England game, the Easter uprising stuff. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention that on the.
No, of course no. You bring it up all you like, and I forgot that actually happened. Like that was. Do you think Damien played any role in that at Celtic before the Derby games?
I'd like to think so.
I mean, granted, we had a few. What would have been the Derby results under him? Too much backtracking to do there. He also asked the second question, and we've already kind of answered it. Should we recall Jack Hendry? I mean, I think it was a no from the two of us, wasn't it? Or the three of us, wasn't it?
Nah, I wouldn't recall him.
Nah.
We've got a question. A lot of them are surrounding the situations that we've already kind of covered. We've had, Declan Gallacher talk. We've had Jack Hendry talk. A few questions relating to the dramatic finale of the FM Save Me and David Dunn. A good question, though, from Fredo Forrester, who says, what's the best current formation we can play? I feel like we never have an identity, especially recently when Frimpong's playing as a winger. Keep up the good work, boys. Kieran, what is our best formation? What is our best identity? Have we came to the point where it's the narrow diamond, or once again, is that just a situation where it's been good for a couple of games and we still have no idea?
I feel like Celtic, we sort of fluctuate between formations, and I think whoever said that was very correct in saying we don't have a clear identity as a team. I feel like we just play something, works for a wee while, and then we get found out, then we change it up again. Same with like 3-5-2 when we played the 4-2-3-1 last year. And I hope to God that the diamond doesn't get found out, but obviously we got beat at Ibrox, but it wasn't due to that. But I don't know. I think we're playing well now with the current system, with the diamond in the midfield, but it's just whether or not we can keep that up, or if it's going to be another temporary solution, and then we end up getting found out and we have to change it up again. Because fans scream for a formation, then when we play it and it doesn't work out, we have to scream for something else, and just we've not got a clear under Lennon. I just don't know. I
think the whole situation just is a lot. We can talk all day about formations and what's the best formation, but if you've not got a style of play to go along with it, that's what matters the most. Luke Rodgers had a clear system. His system was we played it out from the back, we took our time, we would pass it side to side. It might have been boring to watch, but it worked. And no matter what kind of shape that he would put out in the park, it was the same system. It was, you could see in all the players, they were confident in it, and it was just nice, fluid. Confidence was reeking out the team. We don't have that now. Ryan, your answer to the question, do you have any thoughts?
I think we've got to go with the diamond just now. I think that's our best bet just now, but it all depends on the personnel that's in the team, and of course the opposition that we play. The best teams in the world are able to adjust accordingly to the opposition that they're playing against, and I don't feel that we do that well at all. I feel like we've been found out just the 3-5-2 earlier on in the season, so I think we've got to be flexible. But I don't know if Neil Lennon has that in him to be as flexible.
Well, he's certainly not flexible in the physical sense. We can almost guarantee that.
Can relate to him just now.
But aye, very good question set, and thank you everybody for getting involved with your questions. There's a few in it. I mean, my good pal Jake is asking for who's the top 5 most handsome Celtic players of all time. I don't feel like that. I feel like that's a podcast in itself. Aye, the main thing I was going to say about that was, if I was to answer any very quickly, it would have to be Gorgeous Samaras. It would have to be him at number 1, wouldn't it? Just look at him, man. Just look at him. Absolutely gorgeous. Could take him back now, couldn't you? Kieran, your face is in shock at that.
I would just pick that up loads, man. It's like TikTok.
Fantastic stuff. Right, so last thing I want to talk about before we move on to the quiz to end off the show, and it's Moussa Dembele. The man is going to the very, very top. The journey doesn't look like it's stopping. You can question the style of Atletico Madrid's play all you like, but look, I said it when he played for Celtic, and I'm continuing to say it. He's just going to be unbelievable. £3.6 million or something, though, is on the line for Celtic here. We could be bringing in money. Ryan, what are you thinking about Big Moose?
I'm just proud of him, really. I feel like he's dad or something. I feel like we've made this sort of monster of a player. I feel like he had the best setup at Celtic to really succeed. He had adoring fans. He had obviously 60,000 fans. He had a weekend Rangers as well, which was good. So he could feast on them a couple of times. But no, I'm so proud of him. I hope that he does better than his fellow countryman Thomas Lemar, because he's kind of lost over there.
Aye.
He was supposed to be the next big thing, and he's just lost basically.
It's the same story with a couple of players at Atletico Madrid over the years. We've seen it happen briefly with João Felix when he went there, but now he's starting to really pick up the pace. He's becoming what everybody expected of him when the fee was paid. Kieran, how much does this benefit Celtic, both financially, but also it's a telltale sign of some success we have seen over the past decade. You know, you've got Van Dijk, who's became the best centre-half in the world. Kieran Tierney, some are calling the best full-back in the Premier League at the minute. You've got Eduardo, who could go into big things. Ayer go into big things. You've got Denier, who's done well in Europe as well. And now you've got Moussa Dembele, who's well on track to being one of the best strikers in Europe. And of course, there's that financial benefit too.
I mean, it's a testament to some of the players that Celtic have brought through over the past few years, and it's the sort of thing. But like fans up here knew how good players like Tierney and Van Dijk and Dembele were up here, but people, and especially down south, and that don't believe it until they make it in a big league. But no.
Well, of course, the French league's apparently a farmers' league too. Oh, it's frozen.
Atletico Madrid would have been his destination that he would have been going to be honest with you. I think it's a risky one, because I don't think there's any in between. It's either you're going to be a hero or you're going to be a fucking villain, because I don't like the way Atletico play football. I mean, at least they've got a style of football, but I just don't like it. But it just seems quite anti-football, like the sort of defensive manner, and I don't think it particularly suits like strikers. It's either need to sink or swim as soon as you go into a system like that and adapt to it. But I don't know. I've got confidence in him that he can go and do it, but is it a loan deal? Which will then
a 6-month loan deal that goes into an option to buy, I believe, for the fee. So of course, not yet will Celtic see a financial benefit of it, but it is one of those transfers that when it happens with a player that big, they tend to happen. So you're looking at it being a very realistic possibility.
I just thought it would have been for the Premier League, to be honest with you. I thought Chelsea or even a Man United that came in.
I was dying to see him go United. I mean, at least it's not West Ham.
I know. When I seen the links happen, I was like, there's no chance he would take. I know he's not exactly been in the team as much this season at Lyon, but I thought, nah, he's definitely not going to lower himself to go to West Ham. No disrespect to West Ham. Well, maybe some disrespect to West Ham. But, nah, I don't think a player of his stature should be going to an elite club in Europe. I think he's always been destined for something like that, and I'm glad to see him doing well.
Let's hope that he can join a line of strikers that Atletico have produced over the years. You know, your Fernando Torreses, your Sergio Agueros, Diego Costa at a point. They have produced some very good strikers over the years. Ryan, it's just, as you said, proud father moment. And the shirt will always remain behind me till the day I die. It will always
God
remain.
bless him.
God bless him. And that wraps up the whole conversation aspect of the show. We'll move into the last segment now, boys, and it's going to be use against each other. Of course, that's part of the kind of... I renamed the thing on Spotify the Talk Scottish Football Network, so it's officially part of the TSF network now, this podcast. Still no Rangers content. So we're very one-sided at the minute. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it means that we're going to kind of keep the same format, which means we're going to have a quiz, and it's my favourite part of the show. Even if I'm a contestant or I'm Bradley Walshing it up, I don't mind. I'm happy to be on one side. So, Ryan, since it's your debut today, I will give you the fortunate opportunity of picking heads or tails.
I'll go tails.
You're going tails, okay. Alexa, heads or tails? This isn't it. Oh, let's see. Is it going to...
Sorry, I don't know.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know. Right, we'll try Siri. This is the what I should. Do you know what? I've actually got a coin sitting right beside me. this whole time, right? You said tails, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. It's tails. So what do you want? Do you want set A or set B? Of course, if you pick set A, you'll go first. Set B, you'll go second.
I'll go set A.
Set A. Okay, you're going first then. That means the kind of pressure is on Kieran to equalise up. These questions seem a lot easier than what they did for the Talk Scottish Football ones. I mean, we've had Ryan, I don't know if you've watched, but we've had a very, very, very big amount of stinkers. 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins. We've not had a lot of questions right. So I'll start with you. First question. Which Celtic goalkeeper has made the most European appearances? Oh, look at him go. Look, he's
European.
Look at him. He's thinking.
Is it Pat Bonner?
No, the correct answer's... Kieran, do you want to have a pop?
Yeah, Craig Gordon.
It is. It's Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon is the correct
I was initially
answer.
going to go with Ryan's answer, to be honest, but if it wasn't him, I thought it would have been.
Of course, Craig Gordon's had the lot. And I don't know if it's counting... Like, I don't know how many he would have made with the likes of Sunderland and Hearts and such. I don't imagine it would have been, I don't know if there was, if any, but quite a lot. I think he made close to 70 appearances. So there you go. There's Craig Gordon there. Second question, Kieran. This one's quite an easy one. If you don't get it, I mean, it's pretty much retire for the show. Henrik Larsson joined Celtic from which club?
Feyenoord.
Correct, right? It's 1-0, Kieran. He takes the lead. Ryan. Oh, I feel bad for Ryan. This is like this is like
you
know, you bet, yeah. Because your question, what feat did Jimmy McGrory achieve against Dunfermline on January the 14th, 1928? It's quite a, see, to be fair, it's one of those ones. It's like fair enough. Like, it's quite a standout moment, but I've never really heard anybody talk about it, so I wouldn't know.
Most hat-tricks for Celtic?
No, the correct Kieran, do you want to have him, I guess?
Wait, he never scored for a corner, did he?
No, it wasn't that. The correct answer was he scored 8 goals in a 9-0 win. That is the correct answer there. So, Kieran, you have a chance to go up 2-0 here, which is, and I've just realised it's only 9 questions. So I'm going to have to make one up, but we'll be fine. How many goals did Odsonne Edouard score against Hearts in the 2018-19 season, the whole season? So you've got to do a wee bit of calculating there. See Ryan there thinking as well.
4.
Oh, you're wrong, Ryan. Have you got a guess?
I was going to go 5.
Got to go 5. You would have been correct with 5, but of course, it's not a rebounder. So, Kieran, you're still in the lead. Don't worry. But your chance to equalise is now, Ryan. Your chance to equalise is now. Young Celt Armstrong Okoflex. Now, this question could go one of many ways. Armstrong Okoflex was born in which city?
I'm trying to think. This could be
anywhere, really. Could be anywhere, really.
I'm going to guess Dublin.
You're correct. It is Dublin. Dublin is the correct answer. You've equalised. Kieran, to take the lead again. Who were Celtic's opponents in their last appearance in the former European Cup Winners' Cup? Once again, could be anybody, unless you are alive. I'll give you, what I'll do is I'll give you a clue in the sense of what year it was. The last year of the European Cup Winners' Cup was 1995-96. The last year Celtic competed in it anyway.
This could genuinely be anybody.
Could be. Literally could be anybody. So you may as well just take a stab in the dark.
Fuck it. Barcelona.
You went round the right kind of tracks with how big the club is, in terms of a modern day anyway. The correct answer is Paris Saint-Germain. That is the correct answer. So, you know what? You went down the right tracks with it. Right, question. So this is for Ryan to take the lead with question number 7. This one I would never get in a million years, but you might. Which ex-Deportivo La Coruna striker played for both Celtic and Livingston? I think Ryan's frozen. Oh no, he's not frozen again. He's there.
Was that Fernandez? David Fernandez?
David Fernandez is correct. That's correct answer. So Ryan takes the lead, which means Kieran, you need to get this one right. Well, you don't need to. But let's try and get it right. Which Celtic? When Celtic beat Stade Rennes at home in the Europa League back in 2011, who scored Celtic's goals? Oh, I feel like you would have been at that game.
I know, but
actually, it might have been in France. I don't know. I can't remember what way it was. 2011. There was 2 goal scorers. I think Ryan knows them.
Anthony Stokes.
That's one of them. You've got one correct there.
And fuck.
Oh, I get the other one.
Gary Hooper.
Gary Hooper is correct. You've got them both right. So you're
Sung Young, but I think he scored against Udinese.
Aye, that's right. Right, 2-2, which means, you know, it's kind of... Do you know what's annoying me about question 9, right? This is in the Celtic view. I'm taking this from the Celtic view. And question number 9 is not Celtic related at all. It's not Celtic related. It's the only one that's not. So, Ryan, here you go. Which country won the 2019 Women's World Cup? Don't know why that's just been thrown in as a question, but it's there.
It's got to be USA.
It is the USA. That's correct, right? Which means, Kieran, you have to get this right to send it to a sudden death question, which I do have prepared. But here we go. In which season did Celtic first compete in the Champions League group stages? Oh, look at him think. He's got to get it right. If he doesn't get it right, Ryan wins the first ever the Sellik to Thunder quiz.
So, but obviously, Champions League came in, what, 92?
92.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the 90s weren't they great, you know.
Got to remember them.
Go to remember them.
I don't want to guess like pure long after that, because I've not got a clue about, because we definitely shouldn't have been in it. Don't know, I'll go 2001.
I'll give you the correct answer is 2001 to 2002, so it's 3-3. It's an equaliser. I'll give you it because you didn't say 2000. I'll let you away with it. Right, okay. We're going to play sudden death. So first person to get one. Well, you know what? You know how sudden death works. We'll watch penalties. I've got a list of questions here anyway. Ryan, we'll start with you. What was the only trophy that Celtic won in 2000?
The League Cup.
The League Cup is correct. Okay, you've got the advantage at the minute. Kieran, it's an easy one. It's an easy one as well. Who was Celtic's first ever manager?
Willie Mealy.
Willie Mealy is correct. Okay, we're still going. Right. On to the next question. Lubo Moravcik, Ryan, was brought to Celtic from which German club?
Oh
is this the slip up?
It's just, I guess, Cologne.
It's wrong. It's a team that I've actually never heard of. Apart, well, I'm not even going to say apart from. I don't know who we signed them from. To be honest, the correct answer is MSV Duisburg in Germany, and which brings on the chance to win it, Mr. Kiernold. It's a follow up to that question. Which manager signed Lubo Moravcik?
Oh, you bastard. It was me.
Oh.
What year did he come?
This is a chance to win. It's history.
A rebound on this one.
There's a chance to be made here. Chance of history to be made, I should say.
Trying to actually remember what year he came, because obviously he scored in, like, against Rangers and that, but that was in 19. I'll just go. I know it's not, but I'll just go Wim Jansen.
It's not Wim Jansen, Ryan. Do you know the answer?
It's the Doc.
It is the Doc. It's Josef Venglos who signed him. But of course, we keep going. We keep bloody going. Who will win? Who scored the only goal? I know exactly. This could be on forever. Sorry, there we go. Right. Who scored the only goal of the game when Celtic defeated the Rosenborg at Celtic Park in a group stage match in October 2001? Champions League group stage match. Who scored the only goal?
What you're going to say 2019? 2001, 2000. It was 4. 2001.
Stab in the dark in the Martin O'Neill days.
Martin O'Neill. I got. Oh, no, you done well by not going for like a Larson or a Sutton or a Hartson. The correct answer though was Kieran. Do you want to have a guess?
No.
Alan Thompson was the correct answer. Alan Thompson was the answer. Kieran, a chance to win. And it's relating to a team that we played very, very recently. Which country were Celtic's qualifying round opponents Sudova from?
Oh, shit. Lithuania.
Lithuania is correct, which means Kieran there's the winner of the first ever Sellik.
Don't know if you've muted yourself.
Yeah, you must have. You fucked something in that mic.
Do you hear me now?
Aye.
Don't know what happened. I literally have no idea what happened.
Null and void it.
I'll cut that bit anyway. But well done, Kieran. Callum will be on the next show, I believe, so they'll have a chance to compete to take that crown off you for a week. But don't worry, it'll be well warm with whoever it is. Anything you'd like to throw in, gents, before we wrap up the show and I just call it quits and we go back to our very happy lockdown lives?
I think we've covered everything today.
Brian?
No, just thanks for having me, really, and can't wait to do more of them.
Anytime. We're going to build a reputation for ourselves as the most. I don't even know. I don't know where I'm going to go with that. So we'll just leave it there. I was going to be perhaps leave in a controversial boat, but we'll avoid that.
You can shoot on someone.
Well, no, I'm not quite at that level yet. You know, I've always said this could be the Monday Night Wars, but we'll not get too big-headed. I was just going to call us a bunch of explicit. We'll leave it there. Leave it there.
We're entitled,
mate. We're entitled. That's it. Anyway, like, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify and you're listening to Apple, make sure to share it out anyway on all the relevant sources, Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah. Get as many people listening as possible. Kieran, Ryan, thank you. The links to everybody's Twitters and such will be in the description below if you want to go and keep up with the opinions of the panel. I thank you all for listening and I'll see you all next time.